I recently got this email from one of my clients who asked me, I'm gonna read the entire email here in a second, but she basically asked me if it's actually ethical to manifest a specific person. Is it okay to be with a person who said that they didn't want to do anything with them? And is it not immoral, unethical if they don't want to be with me? Am I infringing upon their free will? I mean, that's the gist of the email. And I'm gonna share with you this mind-blowing understanding of free will and this whole concept of manifesting, which will probably change the way you view your reality, not just with your specific person but with everyone around you, especially relating to others. And this has helped me in my own manifesting journey, especially when I was manifesting a person who actually rejected me. She said she didn't want to do anything with me when I was on this process of manifesting her, and I actually did. What happened was I was doubting myself on the process because I felt like I was trying to somehow manipulate her in the 3D reality. But that wasn't the case. I'm gonna share with you exactly why that was. So if you're interested in learning more about the ethics of manifesting and if it's actually unethical to manifest a specific person, stay tuned and let's get started. Welcome back to this video, guys. My name is Rav Sitola. I'm your manifesting coach, and recently I released this free guidebook which is all about manifesting a specific person. So if you want to learn how to exactly manifest a specific person and the different concepts that's actually gonna really clarify the concepts of manifesting for you, especially manifesting a specific person for you, this guide is going to be super helpful. So if you want to learn more about this, look at the link in the description box below. So let me start by reading this entire email that she sent me, okay? So she is actually a student from one of my courses, and she watched one of my recent videos which was about free will when it comes to manifesting. Rav, after watching your video on free will, something really clicked. I think before I was doing affirming blindly and hoping the reality to change, but deep down I didn't even believe that I could actually be with my SP. Now, although I think I'm in a place where I do believe it fully, I find myself questioning whether if it's a right thing to manifest my specific person who said that he didn't want to be with me. But I really want to know if it's okay to be with them again, and it almost feels unethical sometimes when I do my affirmations of visualize. And what about free will they have in the 3D? Am I not messing with that? Please, Rav, help me. I just want answers on this. So thank you so much. I'm not going to say the name since you said you don't want to be mentioned in this video, but thank you so much for this email. And I think a lot of people struggle with this kind of thinking when it comes to manifesting, because free will can be a very tricky thing, right? And I'm also really glad that this video on free will really helped you believe that manifesting your specific person is possible, or manifesting is possible, because it is. I keep telling that once you really be aware about your current circumstances, your current scenarios, and you start really tuning into the desired reality that you want through your thoughts, your affirmations, your visualizations. I mean, every technique that we're doing is simply to shift you from this current state of reality where you feel like you're lacking what you want to the state of actually embodying what you want to have and just living from that end, right? Living in the end of that reality instead. That's the entire process that we're doing, right? No matter whatever techniques that I share with you, no matter whatever meditations that I share with you, the purpose of all of those things are to basically shift your mindset and these current assumptions about how you view your reality, from thinking that I can't have this to I can have this, right? It's a shift in feeling, thoughts, beliefs, assumptions, and everything else. Manifesting is as simple as that. So now talking about the ethics of manifesting a specific person who may have said that they didn't want to be with you, or maybe someone you barely know and they may be in a relationship with somebody else. Is it actually ethical? Is it actually a moral thing to do to manifest them to be with you? So there's actually two ways of looking at this. The first way is looking at creation already being finished, right? This is a concept by Neville Goddard. And the second concept, which is probably the most powerful concept that you can understand in order to manifest your specific person, is the concept of love. And everything in this world is made from the basis of love, and everything that we're doing is an act of love. This is a very powerful concept, and I want you to really understand this concept of love, so stay with me until then. But first, let's talk about the concept of creation already being finished. Creation is already finished, which just means that there's infinite number of possibilities out there, right? And reality transurfing also says that It's like the space of variations. All these like possible scenarios that you want in your reality already exist, so you're simply choosing that reality that exists out there. So there's a version of you where you're being rejected from your specific person, but there's also this version of you and your specific person where you're both in a very, very committed relationship. And in this version, you're very committed to each other, very understanding of each other. The more you tune into that version with your thoughts, with your feelings, with your assumptions, with your visualizations, with your affirmations, every technique that you're doing, right? Once you start living from the end of that version, none of the things that happened in the past matters. You're simply tuning into that version, and you're gonna step into that version. And of course, there are gonna be different things that happen along the way to get you there. It's not just gonna be like one day you wake up and suddenly you're right on the bed next to your specific person. That's not how the way it works. Like, this is not like a Hollywood sci-fi movie or anything like that, right? But none of the things that happened in the past matters. All that matters is the more you tune into that version of you and your specific person being together, the more easily you'll be able to manifest them. But the more you doubt yourself and the process of manifesting, the more you're hampering the process, because you're still tuning into that 3D reality or the past version of your specific person. And you're also gonna see evidence of people actually commenting and saying that yes, it's unethical to manifest a specific person. You may start going into Reddit forums and they're like pages after pages on their website where people say that it's not like actually good to manifest a specific person because they're, you know, you're infringing upon their free will, and you're gonna get confirmation on that. But if you ask me, I'm gonna say no, it doesn't really matter. Because you're not infringing anybody's free will on the 3D reality. You're simply tuning into the version of the best possible version of your specific person, not just the version of the reality, but also the best possible version of yourself and your specific person. So there's nothing actually unethical about that, right? Because all you're simply doing is visualizing, affirming, and everything that happens automatically, and you're not going out there with ill intentions to do like voodoo magic or something like that to manipulate your specific person or the third party or whatever, right? You're not doing that, right? You're simply not caring about like all of these things that exist out here in 3D reality that show you otherwise, that show you that you can't be with your specific person, and you're simply tuning to that more powerful version of reality. And the more you saturate yourself in that reality, more easily you'll be able to be with your specific person. And if it's really hard for your mind to grasp this concept of creation is already finished or the space of variations, I really want you to think of this concept of creation being the act of love in itself. But before we move on to that, I just want you to remind you, if you haven't really subscribed to this channel yet, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And what's resonated with you on this video the most, don't forget to leave that on the comment section below as well. Because the more you engage with this video, the more this video will reach to other manifestors like you and help them manifest their goals. And I personally really appreciate that as well. This desire that you had in your heart right now to be with your specific person itself is an act of love, a form of love, came from a more higher source, like a higher power, and it wanted you to become with your specific person. All the things that you're doing through affirmations, visualizations to be with your specific person is also an act of love. And you may be wondering, what if I'm infringing upon their free will? What if I'm trying to actually manipulate them? What if I'm trying to control their behaviors through my affirmations, if that's really happening? I mean, are you really though? Are you really going out there in the 3D to control or trying to text them, to manipulate them somehow? If you're really doing that, then okay, I do have to admit that's probably wrong, right? But what I mean by here is, if you're doing all this like mental work, this inner work to be with your specific person, maybe you're not infringing upon their free will. Maybe they were not in the best state of mind when they rejected you. And maybe through the work that you're doing right now, you're also creating a best version of themselves. And maybe the relationship that you're creating is the best thing that they could ever had. And if you start thinking of it in this way and stop doubting that you're infringing upon the free will, I think manifestation is going to be really smoother for you. And let's say maybe your specific person is even in a relationship with somebody else, like a third party, right? Maybe you look at the picture and you start to imagine, okay, maybe they're in such a great relationship, and you start becoming more and more insecure, right? But you don't know that. It's just a picture that you see on Facebook or Instagram. But in the reality, they may not be fitting well together. And maybe, who knows, your specific person still misses that aspect of relationship that they might have had with you. Or if they've never been with you, maybe they're kind of craving for that relationship that could be possible once you guys are together. So instead of looking at reality and judging it, thinking of the worst case scenarios, try to think of the best case scenarios. What if it was the best thing that could ever happen for them. Because if with the work that you're doing, if you're really able to manifest that really harmonious, loving relationship with your specific person, I mean, that's the best thing you could ever give to them. And not only that, maybe you're also like giving that third party an option to find the best version of the relationship that they want for themselves, because they're probably unhappy with your specific person. And just to wrap this up, I want to share a story of one of my friends who years ago manifested his specific person. He did actually take some steps out in the 3D that seemed very like daring, bold, and even like really outrageous to some people at that time. But I'm gonna share with you what happened after that too, okay? So years ago, my friend, he got enlisted in the US Army. Right before he went to the US Army, he wanted to marry this girl he barely knew, and this girl was in a relationship with somebody else. But since this girl was an immigrant from Nepal, where I'm from, he wanted to like marry her so he could also like, you know, apply for green card citizenship. So at first this girl kept rejecting him, and it almost seemed that she was in this really committed relationship with this other person, right? But my friend never stopped persisting, even though, you know, this girl seemed like she was in a committed relationship. And I'm not saying you have to do this, but he used to go to her work and he used to like really you know, like try to be around her, flirt with her all the time. And finally she actually gave in, and you know, they went on their first date, and that was it. She broke up with that other guy, and she actually married him like a couple of months later. And all of a sudden I see them like they're in Hawaii like 6 months later, after, you know, he's completed the training and everything. And then I got to know her as well, right? And I asked her about this situation, right? How do you feel about like what happened like back then? And she said to me, at that time I didn't realize like the person she was with was very manipulative, controlling. And my friend who she got married with, that was like the best thing that happened to her, because she had never traveled in her entire life. Now they're like traveling constantly, almost like every single weekend. And that was like the best version of life that she didn't even knew. So what I'm trying to say here is, what you think of reality right now, your definition of reality even changes like on a day-to-day basis. So I don't think it's really wise to judge looking at the things from immediate reality. And lastly, what I want to say is, this is my personal opinion, right? It doesn't matter what I think, but it does matter what you think. If you think that if it's unethical to manifest with your specific person, so be it. I mean, that's what your reality is going to give you, right? It's going to give you all the different reasons why you shouldn't be with your specific person. If that's what you really want, then it's totally okay. You have the option to not manifest them and choose somebody totally new and manifest the best version of the relationship that you want, right? But if you really want to be with your specific person, you have to be the one who has to stop doubting, who has to stop like questioning the reality all the time, and just believe that it's okay. Everything that I'm doing is an act of love. Because of what I'm doing right now, it's not only going to create a good future for me, of course it is, but it's also going to create a good future for this relationship and also my specific person. And that's why the thing that I'm doing is like the best thing that I could not only give myself, but also to my specific person. If you start embodying this kind of mindset, I don't see any place of regret or guilt out there. And with that being said, guys, we have different programs that's going to help you manifest your specific person. Also, we have this free new guide out to help you manifest your specific person specifically, so you can check that out as well. And also, if you resonated with this video, don't forget to share this with others who are in the same journey as you. And the more this video reaches out there, I think it's gonna help people build more confidence on their own manifesting ability. That's what I want to happen for everyone out there who's trying to currently manifest whatever it is that they desire. And with that, I want to wish you all the very best. Happy manifesting. Goodbye and namaste.